The painting that breathed the rain hadn't stopped for 2 days. The constant drumming on the roof of the old farmhouse dulled every other sound, like nature was trying to smother something. Evelyn moved into the house 3 days ago, a remote Victorian manor left to her by an aunt she had never met. According to the will, the house came with everything inside it: the furniture, the books, even the paintings, especially the paintings. She had been drawn to one in particular. It hung in the second-floor hallway, just outside the room she chose as her bedroom. It wasn't beautiful, not in the traditional sense. It showed a woman in a faded red dress, standing in a foggy forest, her back turned, head slightly tilted like she was listening to something behind her. Her pale hand rested on the trunk of a tree that seemed far too dark, almost as if it was charred. Evelyn hadn't noticed it at first, but every time she passed it, it felt different. Like the woman had moved. Just slightly. A shift in the shoulder, a deeper tilt of the head, and once Evelyn could have sworn she saw a smudge of red just beyond the tree line, like someone, or something, was watching her back. She laughed it off. She had always had a vivid imagination, but even she couldn't explain the cold spots that lingered in that hallway, or the way the air seemed to hum when she stood in front of the painting for too long. It was the third night when she finally couldn't sleep. The wind howled outside, thunder shook the walls, and from the hallway came a soft, deliberate sound. Breathing. Not hers, not the wind. Something slow, ragged, wet. She sat up, heart pounding. The sound stopped. She got out of bed, tiptoed to the door, and opened it just a crack. The hallway was empty. But the painting. The woman had turned. Evelyn stumbled back. It couldn't be. She turned on the light. No mistake. The woman in the red dress now faced the viewer. Her face was long, pale, and her eyes, they were open, not painted open. Open. Behind the glass they glistened with a wet sheen, and her lips were parted as though caught mid-breath. Evelyn slammed the door shut. She barely slept. The next morning she decided to move the painting. Maybe lock it in the basement, or burn it. She approached with gloves, refusing to look the figure in the eyes. As her fingers gripped the frame, a cold breath brushed against her neck. She whirled around. No one there. When she looked back, the woman's eyes were now on her. Blood rushed to Evelyn's ears. She yanked the painting off the wall. The glass cracked. From the canvas, a soft hissing exhalation seeped out like steam. She dragged it to the attic. The attic smelled of mildew and old secrets. Dust coated everything like a shroud. She shoved the painting into a corner, face to the wall, and tossed a tarp over it. Done. For a few days, things returned to normal, or close enough. But on the fifth night, she awoke to a scratching sound above her. The attic. It wasn't rats. It was dragging, like someone was moving something heavy across the floor. A picture frame, a body. She didn't sleep. By morning, the sounds had stopped, and when she opened the attic door, her heart plummeted. The painting was no longer in the corner. It leaned against the attic wall, uncovered. Facing her, the woman's face had changed again. Her eyes were wider, mouth parted more, revealing darkened gums. Her hand now clutched the tree with claw-like fingers, and something moved in the mist behind her. A tall, shadowy figure, indistinct but watching Evelyn, backed out and locked the attic door. Later that day, she searched the house for any mention of the painting. She found it in a dusty journal tucked in a locked drawer in the study. The journal belonged to her great-aunt, the previous owner of the house. The final entry read, "I tried to destroy it. Fire won't take it. I buried it once. It returned to the wall by morning. The woman is no longer in the forest. She's at the edge now, and last night she breathed on my cheek. I felt it, heard it. She whispered, 'Let me in. If you're reading this, don't look her in the eyes. Don't dream of her. Don't let her breathe your air.'" Evelyn dropped the journal. She started sleeping with the lights on, covered the mirrors, and still, every night she dreamed. Of fog, of branches snapping underfoot, of someone standing just behind her in a red dress, closer and closer each time. Until one night she turned around. She woke up screaming. That morning, the painting was gone again. Not in the attic, not in the hallway, not in the basement. She found it in her bedroom, propped against the wall opposite her bed. And the The woman was smiling now. That smile, it wasn't joy, it was hunger, triumph. Evelyn tried to leave the house, but the front door wouldn't open. Neither did the windows. The keys vanished, her phone had no signal, and the battery drained within minutes. Trapped. She tried to burn the painting again, out in the backyard, under the grey sky. It wouldn't catch. The flames licked the edges, but the canvas remained untouched. The smoke rose like the shape of a woman, twisting, tall, red at the core. That night, Evelyn set up a camera to record the room. She watched the footage the next morning. At 3:13 a.m., the painting moved, not a trick of the eye, not a shadow. The figure in the painting stepped forward, one pale foot out of the frame, then two. She leaned forward until her face pressed against the inside of the glass, fogging it up with breath. Then she exhaled, and the lights in the room flickered. The footage ended there. The next night, Evelyn set up candles, drew salt circles, recited whatever protections she could find online. She didn't care if it sounded ridiculous. At 3:13, the air turned cold, the flame of the central candle snuffed out, and a breath whispered in her ear, "Let me in." Evelyn turned and saw the woman, standing in the room half out of the painting. Her body was long, stretched unnaturally, like something trying to remember how to be human. Her skin was slick and pale, her eyes were black voids. Her mouth gaped wider than it should, inhaling her. Evelyn screamed and threw the lamp. Light burst, the painting crashed, shards everywhere. The figure vanished. For a week, nothing happened. Until Evelyn noticed a shape forming in her mirror, a red dress. A forest behind her. And now Evelyn herself was in the background, blurry like a figure in someone else's painting. She tried to cover the mirror, but her reflection kept moving after she stopped. The final straw came when she heard her own voice calling from the hallway. "Evelyn, come look, it's finished." She followed, unable to resist. There, in the hallway, the painting had returned. It now showed her, Evelyn, standing in the forest. Facing the viewer, her eyes were wide, her mouth open, breathing, and behind her, the woman in red was smiling with her hand on Evelyn's shoulder. No one saw Evelyn again. The house was eventually reclaimed by the state, and the painting, still hanging in the hallway, waiting for someone to breathe it in,